Hey, so you've got a big job and you want to know if you should distribute it on a cluster. Here are some things to consider. Now, first, I should say absolutely run your job locally. And if you're doing something with Python and you have Dask as an option, that's a great one. You can always use Dask on your local machine. But let's assume the performance isn't good enough and you've got to decide, okay, do I distribute this? Well, here are the things you should think about, or here's the no camp of the story. You have an option to improve performance doing a bunch of different things besides distributing your job on a cluster. And those things you might do are, for example, use better algorithms. You might use better data structures, more efficient data structures. You might do more efficient data storage. You might actually not write Python. You might write just a little bit of C or Fortran or Numba. Numba is probably my favorite choice out of these three just because I don't know any C and I don't know any Fortran. But Numba, man, you can pick that up and use it. And then finally, you might just use Dask a little bit better, if you will, a little bit more efficiently. So the theme here is if you are a little bit better, your code, your job will run faster, whether it's on your local machine or on a bigger machine. Now here's the yes camp. And as you know, Coiled gives you Dask clusters as a service. You don't need Coiled to get a Dask cluster, but it sure is easy. And here's where you might say, here's my criteria for when you might want to do this. Do you want to get better? Do you want to improve? Or do you want this done in some amount of minutes? You could be less efficient with your algorithms, data structures, your data storage formats, the actual code you're running, and you could just say, hey, I need this job done in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, an hour, whatever it is, and then solve for the number of machines and the size of machines you need and figure out that cost. And if the cost is acceptable, great, you're done. That's it. So let's just quickly recap. You don't always, if you have a job that needs to run faster, you don't necessarily have to distribute. There's lots of things you can do to make your code go faster. Those all involve some sort of self-improvement. If that's you, great, go do it. If on the other hand, you just want this job done in a certain amount of time and you're willing to pay a little bit of money in compute cost, then go ahead and solve for the number of instances and size of instances you need, and you can back into this without having to do all of this work. And if you need a cluster, yeah, maybe check out Coiled.